I chased Annalise for 7 years, doing every absurd and outrageous thing imaginable for her. After my father's death and my mother's descent into madness, I fell from the heavens into the gutter, stripped of all the resources that had fueled my flamboyant life. On the day Annalise got engaged to the man she loved, everyone was tense, bracing for me to crash the party, but I never showed up, not even when they exchanged rings. She grew restless, her eyes constantly darting toward the entrance. What she didn't know was that the day before her engagement, I had grabbed the arm of the woman I once so cruelly humiliated and rejected. I can't get you the $10,000 for the damages. Camilla's eyes, unchanged by time, looked deeply into mine. You can't, huh? Well, then you can just pay me back with your body. The day I moved my mother out of the villa, many people from my old circle came to watch the spectacle. We didn't have many belongings, but it was too much to carry by hand. It was our old housekeeper, Mrs. Davies, who couldn't bear to watch and had her husband bring a pickup truck to help us out. I settled my mother in, wrapping her carefully in a blanket, before squeezing myself into the small gap between the luggage and a dog crate. The truck had just started when several luxury cars surrounded us. Marcus Thorne, look how far you've fallen. Well, if it isn't the great young master, looking like a stray dog. Where are you moving to? The penthouse at 1, Beacon Court. Don't be ridiculous. That's Annalise and Noah's new place. What right does Marcus have to live there? I shrank into the narrow space as the piercing laughter washed over me, my eyes downcast, and my face a mask of indifference. In the months since my family went bankrupt and my father jumped to his death, I had tasted the full spectrum of human nature. The once proud young master was nothing but a useless, pampered brat. Without the Thorne family and my father, my spine had been easily shattered one vertebra at a time. What were mockery and cold words? It was the formerly close uncles who, tearing off their masks of benevolence, revealed their vile and lecherous true selves that truly disgusted me. But right now, what I feared most was Annalise's revenge. I had once used my family's status to force her to be with me, causing her true love to flee the country. She despised me, hated me to the bone. And as if on cue, the laughter suddenly stopped. I trembled as I looked up and saw her. Noah stood by her side, her arm linked with his. Her gaze was gentle when she looked at him, but when it turned to me, it was filled with nothing but cold contempt. I huddled in my small space, trying to meet her gaze calmly, but my hidden hands were clenched so tightly that my palms were bleeding. 10 days ago, someone had beaten me up, 7 or 8 slaps that left my face swollen and a tooth loose. Would Annalise have someone beat me? Would she slap me hard or scar my face to vent years of resentment? Marcus, she said my name coolly. As you can see, Noah is back. If you ever bother me or hurt him again. My face turned pale. Annalise, I told you the day my father died, we're over. I will never bother you again. A flicker of something crossed her face, but someone in the crowd suddenly shouted, what an act. He was so high and mighty when he was rich, and now that he's broke, he's playing the part of a fragile little victim. He really knows how to bend. Annalise, don't believe a word he says. Don't go soft on him. Yeah, how many times has he lied to you over the years? If it weren't for his schemes, Noah wouldn't have had that accident 3 years ago. Stop it, Noah said, his face pale, clearly still shaken by the memory. Annalise's heart ached for him. Noah, it's all in the past. But Annalise, I'm afraid it will happen again, Noah said, glancing at me before quickly looking away. Annalise shielded Noah behind her, her eyes turning to ice as she looked at me. Marcus, remember what you said. If you dare pull any more tricks, I will not spare you or any living member of the Thorne family. The spring rain had been falling for half a month without a break. The dilapidated rental house we lived in started to leak. My mother had a sudden breakdown, crying, throwing things, and screaming. I had just gotten back from my part-time job and was too exhausted to stop her. She ran out into the rain. By the time I found her, she had already caused a disaster, smashing the front door and windshield of a car, screaming hysterically. Marcus, this is your father's car. Your father is a bastard. He doesn't want us anymore. He has another woman in his car. Then she broke down, wailing like a child. She lay on the ground, crying, and I stood in the rain, crying with her. My father had spoiled her for her entire life, and he had spoiled me for 23 years, and now he had just abandoned us. The car's damages would cost at least $10,000 to fix. I couldn't afford it. The driver's face grew grim. Sir. Just then, the rear window of the car rolled down. In the flickering streetlights and the fine mist of rain, with the glittering towers of the city's decadent heart in the distance and the sewage-strewn slums at our feet, a multi-million-dollar car sat silently, cutting this fractured world in two. The once great young master now stood ragged and pathetic in the rain, while the once shy and poor girl now stood on a pedestal. When Camilla looked at me, I didn't even recognize her at first. Miss, could I please ask for some time? I promise I'll pay you back as soon as I have the money. How much time? Camilla's gaze landed on my face, her voice a cool, unfamiliar tone, yet it seeped into me like the gentle spring rain. Tell me, Marcus. Her skin was pale, her eyebrows dark, a small brown mole accenting the corner of her eye, a perfectly straight nose, and full, beautiful lips. She was breathtakingly beautiful now. She looked at me, her expression almost gentle, but the moment she said my name, I felt as if I had been plunged into an icy abyss. So this was karma. My mother's sobs continued intermittently, and I snapped back to reality. I took a slow step forward, mustering all my courage, my voice trembling slightly. I can't get you $10,000, Camilla. 3 months? No, 6 months? Is that okay? The driver standing outside the car seemed to freeze for a moment, then moved to pull me away, but Camilla stopped him with a slight raise of her hand. The driver hesitated for a second before tactfully stepping back and dispersing the onlookers. Suddenly, it was quiet, so quiet that all I could hear was the sound of our two breaths tangled together. You can't, huh? Well, then you can just pay me back with your body. Pay you back with my body. I stared wide-eyed, instinctively trying to pull my hand back, but she reached out and gripped my wrist. Camilla's gaze slid from my face down to my fingertips. My hands, which had never known a day of hard work and were once finer than a girl's, were now covered in cuts and calluses, my nails short, the tips raw with broken blisters. She frowned slightly. You're not willing, are you? The reality of the situation slowly dawned on me. This was no coincidence. Even if I produced $10,000 tonight, there would be a $20,000, a $200,000 debt waiting for me in the future. This was the consequence of my youthful ignorance, a debt I had to repay. There was no escape. But how many times? How many times do you think would be enough? I bit my lip, thinking for a long, humiliating moment. I vaguely remembered one of Annalise's friends drunkenly mentioning she had paid a clean college boy $2,000 for his first time. The shame was overwhelming. My voice was so low it was almost inaudible. 5 times. Is that okay? I glanced quickly at Camilla. Her brow seemed to furrow even deeper. A self-deprecating smile touched my lips. Did I still think I was worth something? If that's not enough, then you name the price. Whatever you say. The grip on my wrist suddenly tightened, then just as abruptly released. Camilla looked away coldly. 5 times it is. Starting tonight. But my mother. Camilla didn't look at me, but her voice held no displeasure. Someone will take care of her. I was taken to Camilla's new place in New York. When I came out of the shower, she was standing on the balcony in a bathrobe. Hearing my footsteps, she turned around. Marcus, I didn't force you to come here. I stood still for a moment before speaking softly. I agreed to it myself, because Annalise is getting engaged. Are you acting out of spite? I looked at her, confused. What are you talking about? Camilla watched me for a moment, then smiled faintly. Never mind. I was a bit dazed. I thought I'd heard something about Annalise and Noah getting engaged, but now my heart felt nothing, just a dull ache. Camilla brushed the damp hair from my face and gently cupped my chin. I snapped back to reality and shook my head forcefully. Camilla, she and I are over. Her life has nothing to do with me anymore. Really, I swear it's true. I'm not that pathetic. Camilla suddenly tilted her head up and kissed me. For a brief second, my head spun. If the scent of youth was the soap on a white shirt, then Camilla's was the longest-lasting fragrance. How else could her scent after 7 years still be so clean and crisp, just like it was back then? Marcus, don't you know how to kiss? Close your eyes. Camilla's dry hand covered my eyes, plunging my world into darkness. In the dark, I gradually took the lead, the kiss growing deeper and more passionate as I lifted her into my arms and carried her to the bedroom. My mind was still reeling with a ridiculous thought. I really didn't know how to kiss. When I entered her, she cried out in pain. I froze, stunned. Camilla, tears streamed from the corners of her eyes, dampening her hair. Marcus, she wrapped her slender legs around my waist, urging me on through the pain. Just keep going, or it'll just hurt all over again. But I didn't continue. I leaned down and kissed her with incredible gentleness. Camilla, I'll be gentle. Tell me if it hurts. Will you stop then? Camilla asked, her eyes wet and shimmering. In that moment, she looked nothing like the powerful businesswoman of rumors, but fragile and helpless. I couldn't help but kiss her forehead again. I will. The day of Annalise and Noah's engagement was bright and clear. Her friends were on high alert, ready for me to storm in and cause a scene. When Annalise emerged in her gown, she instinctively glanced toward the hotel entrance. Don't worry, Annalise, we've got it all handled. We won't let Marcus ruin anything. Yeah, there are at least 6 guards at every entrance. There's no way he's getting in. Good. She glanced at the entrance one more time. I'm going to check on Noah. You guys keep an eye out. You can count on us, Annalise. Annalise turned away and pulled out her phone. There were plenty of calls and messages, but not a single one from Marcus. It seemed he had really learned his lesson this time, and he was certainly more patient than before. She remembered how he used to swear he'd leave her alone, only to come crawling back, shameless, within a week at most. This time it had been 15 whole days. The ceremony was about to begin. Annalise pushed her thoughts aside and looked toward Noah, who was walking toward her. Their engagement was a grand affair, with media broadcasting it live. Marcus was probably watching the live stream right now. As the ring exchange approached, and still nothing had happened, Annalise started to feel agitated, her gaze repeatedly flicking to the entrance. The 6 guards stood there, stern and vigilant, a sight that suddenly seemed almost comical. She took the ring box and, under Noah's expectant gaze, took out the ring. As she was about to place it on his finger, she couldn't help but look at the entrance again. Still no sign of Marcus. Noah whispered her name. Annalise. She turned back to him. His fingers were long and clean, clearly having never seen a day of hard work. For some reason, she suddenly thought of Marcus's hands that day. He who was always so particular had never had such ugly hands. But this was all his own doing. Who told him to be so shameless and persistent? Still, if he had truly changed and would stay out of her and Noah's life, she would be willing to give him a lot of money to make his life a little easier. Just as she was thinking this, a commotion erupted outside. Could it be Marcus, here to crash the wedding? He dares? I'll be the first one to take him down. A few of her friends on the floor rolled up their sleeves. Annalise didn't even realize she was smiling. Mike, Josh, go see what's happening. If it's Marcus, throw him out. And listen, don't worry about being polite. Annalise watched her friends go. The commotion outside grew louder, and the guests started craning their necks to see. Noah felt an indescribable unease. He looked at Annalise. The restlessness was gone from her face, her whole demeanor seeming to have calmed. A strange thought crossed Noah's mind. Did Annalise really hate Marcus? Why did he feel that deep down she was almost hoping he would come and cause trouble? Annalise, should we exchange the rings first? Noah prompted gently. Annalise glanced at him, her eyes still gentle, but she didn't nod. Not yet, Noah. Let's wait until they've handled things outside. But I don't want anything to mar our engagement. Noah had no choice but to agree. Annalise. A friend hurried back, his expression strange. What is it? Is Marcus making a huge scene? The friend shook his head. It's not Marcus. He's not here. Annalise's expression darkened in an instant. The fingers hanging loosely at her side suddenly clenching into a fist. Then who's making all the noise? It's Marcus's mother. His mother? Annalise suddenly let out a breath of relief and scoffed. Everyone knew Marcus's mother wasn't well mentally. Marcus must be truly desperate to use his own mother as a pawn, but then again, it was something he was capable of. Annalise, maybe you should go take a look. The friend sighed. His feelings were complicated. Though they disliked Marcus and had been quick to kick him when he was down, they had known him for years, and Marcus's mother, who had been such a gentle and beautiful woman, was now a shadow of her former self, which was a bit sad. It was as if Annalise had been waiting for those words. She immediately placed the ring back in its box, not even bothering to say a word to Noah before walking off the stage. Noah, standing there in his expensive suit and holding the bouquet, could no longer maintain his smile. His face turned stiff with embarrassment and humiliation. He watched Annalise walk away without a single glance back, and finally lost his composure, throwing the bouquet to the ground. "Annalise, you're here." The woman who had been stopped by the guards seemed to have specially dressed for the occasion, showing no signs of her mental instability. She smiled gently when she saw Annalise. "Mrs. Thorne, did Marcus send you?" Marcus's mother waved her hands. No. Annalise dear, I saw on TV that you were getting engaged and came on my own. I know it's rude." Annalise's attitude was decent enough. "I'm sorry, ma'am. It was my mistake for not sending you an invitation. I know it's not your fault. Our Marcus has been a lot of trouble for you all these years, hasn't he?" Marcus's mother looked at the young woman before her, dressed in a beautiful gown, about to marry the man she loved. In this brief moment of clarity, she felt a pang of sorrow for her son, but also a sense of helplessness. "Mrs. Thorne, what is it you want to say?" Annalise frowned slightly. Nothing that had happened today was what she had imagined. Marcus really hadn't come, but his mother had. She had initially thought it was Marcus's doing, sending a mentally unstable person to ruin her engagement, but now something still felt off. "It's like this, Annalise. Marcus once gave you a watch. That watch was a wedding gift from me to his father, and his father later gave it to him to give to his future wife, to be passed down through the generations. Marcus was young and foolish and gave it to you. But now that you're marrying Noah, it's not appropriate for you to have it. Annalise, his father passed so suddenly, and we don't have much left of him. I'd like to have that watch back as a memento." Annalise slowly lowered her gaze to her left wrist. The watch was still there. The day Marcus gave it to her, he had been so proud and arrogant, forcing her to wear it every day and never take it off. After they broke up, she should have taken it off and thrown it away long ago. She told herself she was just used to it after wearing it for 3 whole years. As Annalise thought this, an inexplicable emptiness filled her. She unclasped the watch, but just as she was about to hand it to the expectant woman, she pulled her hand back. "Ma'am, it's not that I can't part with it. It's just that Marcus gave it to me, so you should have him come and ask for it himself." With that, Annalise put the watch back on. "Ma'am, you should go home now. I have to get back to my ceremony." Annalise had already turned and was striding back into the hall. Behind her, she could hear crying and shouting. His mother must be having another episode. An inexplicable frustration welled up inside Annalise. She waved over her assistant. "Postpone the engagement. Take care of the guests." "Miss Thorne," the assistant said, shocked. Annalise frowned impatiently. "Just do as I say. I'll handle the elders." She took out her phone and dialed a number, but it didn't go through. Marcus had blocked her. Annalise let out a humorless laugh. She borrowed a friend's phone and tried again, only to find she was blocked there too. If she wasn't mistaken, Marcus had probably blocked everyone from their old circle. Annalise called over a waiter, borrowed his phone, and this time the call went through. A moment later, someone answered. I was lying on the bed, too tired to even open my eyes, when the phone rang. Camilla was in the shower. I grabbed the phone and answered without thinking, only to hear Annalise's voice. I was a bit surprised. I checked the time. Shouldn't she be in the middle of her engagement ceremony? "Marcus." Annalise's voice was low, laced with an unexplainable annoyance. "You knew I was getting engaged to Noah today, so you deliberately sent your mother to cause a scene, didn't you?" "My mom." I shot up, all sleepiness gone. "What happened to my mom? Where is she now? Still playing dumb? She's not well. If you were watching her properly, how could she have run off to my engagement?" "Marcus, she's here making a scene, and she's ruined my entire ceremony." Annalise let out a cold laugh over the phone. "Marcus, what are you going to do about this?" "I'll be right there." "Annalise, please, for the sake of how well my mother used to treat you, don't make things difficult for her. Don't hurt her, okay? I won't disrespect an elder, but Marcus, you owe me an explanation for today, okay? I'm on my way now. I'll give you an explanation. You know the place." Annalise hung up. I quickly searched online, and when I saw the name of the hotel in the news, I froze for a second. The hotel where she and Noah were holding their engagement was one I had talked about with her countless times, my absolute favorite. But I quickly pushed the thought away. It had nothing to do with me anymore. Even if they got engaged on Mars, I would just smile and congratulate them. I got dressed, grabbed my phone, and was about to leave when Camilla came out of the bathroom. Seeing me about to go, her expression darkened. Marcus, where are you going? Something's come up with my mother. I have to go take care of it. I'll drive you. I glanced at her wet hair. There's no time. I have to get there now. I wanted to ask her why she had said she would take care of my mother last night, only for her to end up at Annalise's today. But then I thought, my mother's mental state made her difficult to watch. I hadn't been able to keep an eye on her myself, which is how she got into trouble. Last night my people were looking after your mother. If something happened, I'm also responsible. Camilla put down her towel. Give me 3 minutes to get dressed. Hey, Camilla. I wanted to say I could just take a cab, but she had already dropped the towel and was getting dressed. I stared for a few seconds before snapping back to reality and covering my eyes. Let's go. Camilla quickly dressed and grabbed her car keys. Your hair is still wet. It's fine. Let's find your mother first. I looked at her dripping hair and subconsciously pursed my lips, but maybe she was just feeling responsible because her subordinate had messed up. Aren't you coming? Camilla looked at me. I quickly followed her out of the room. Camilla drove fast but steady. Besides her obviously more mature and composed appearance and aura, she hadn't changed much. She was still not one for jokes, always focused and serious. Back then, my arrogant younger self disliked her bookish type who didn't know how to have fun. Annalise and her friends didn't like her either, always saying she was pretentious. At that time, I only had eyes for Annalise. If she disliked Camilla, I naturally hated her even more. Looking back, I was the one who bullied her the most, a foolish, single-minded idiot. Thinking about it now, it felt like I had been under a spell. If I were in Camilla's shoes, I wouldn't have been able to swallow that insult either. I would have wanted to get my revenge. With that thought, I secretly resolved that no matter what she did to me during this time, I would endure it, obey her, and accept it all as my penance. When we arrived at the hotel, I stopped Camilla as I was getting out of the car. I can go by myself. I didn't want to drag Camilla into this mess. Even if she was different now, there was no need for her to make enemies with Annalise and her circle. After all, she was alone, while Annalise had the Thorne family and their extensive network behind her. Camilla looked up at me. Marcus, am I someone you're ashamed to be seen with? That's not what I meant, Camilla. This has nothing to do with you. I just don't want you to get involved. You don't want me involved? Now isn't it a bit late for that? Anyway, this time you'll listen to me, okay? We wouldn't have a deep connection. Once the debt was paid, we would both return to our own worlds, with no further ties. Call me if anything happens. Camilla didn't insist. I hurried out of the car, not knowing that the moment I closed the door, the woman inside's face darkened, only to be replaced a moment later by a faint, self-deprecating smile. When I got there, my mother was still crying and making a scene. When she saw me, she immediately broke free from the people holding her. Marcus, I just wanted to get your father's watch back. I wasn't making trouble. I gently hugged her. I know, Mom. Sophia is being so good right now. It was Annalise who wouldn't give it to me. That's why I cried. My mother gripped my hand, looking incredibly wronged. It's our thing. Why won't she give it to me? Okay, you sit here for a bit. I'll go talk to her, okay? I'll be good. After calming my mother down, I turned to Annalise. She was frowning, clearly displeased. I could understand. The person she had longed for was finally within her grasp, only to have the engagement ruined. Miss Thorne, I apologize on behalf of my mother. If necessary, I can also apologize to Mr. Noah. My tone was sincere, my attitude serious. No matter what, this was our fault. What good is an apology, Marcus? My engagement was ruined by your mother. Do you know how long I've waited for this day? Annalise's gaze was fixed on my face, not moving for a second, as if she didn't want to miss a single micro-expression. Then how do you want me to compensate you? Do you have anything left to compensate me with? I was at a loss for words. After a long moment, I said, Miss Thorne, how do you want to resolve this? Tell me, and I will do my best to make it happen. Annalise looked down at me. Marcus, you deliberately ruined my engagement, and now you're putting on this act. Is it fun? You've pulled all sorts of stunts over the years, and I've put up with all of them. Now that your family is in this state, what right do you have to cause trouble? Annalise, I've said it many times, we are over. I apologize for the past, and I will never appear before you and Mr. Noah again. You don't appear, but you send your mother. It's the same thing, isn't it? I didn't send her. Do you think I'd believe you? I couldn't help it if she didn't believe me. I didn't want to waste any more time arguing. I'm taking my mother home now. As for the watch, please Please let me know when you've decided what to do with it. Marcus, have you no shame? You ruined a perfectly good engagement, and now you want to just walk away? Life isn't that easy. Annalise's friends surrounded me, all of them filled with righteous indignation. What do you want? Why don't you kneel to Noah? He's heartbroken right now. You don't have money to compensate for the damages, and Annalise doesn't need your pocket change. I took a deep breath and looked at Annalise. Is that okay? Will you give me the watch if I do that? Annalise's face was strangely grim, but she didn't object. Fine, I'll do it. I turned to the group. Please take me to Mr. Noah. Noah is coming over. Kneel right here so everyone can see, and he can feel better. Noah's face was dark. The moment he saw me, his emotions flared, his eyes turning red instantly. I glanced at my mother sitting quietly in the distance, hoping she wouldn't see me at my most pathetic. Can my mother leave first? I don't want her to see this. No, please escort Mrs. Thorne out. Annalise, however, agreed. Thank you. I was genuinely grateful to her. Mr. Noah, I said, looking at him, I apologize to you. But Noah spoke first. Marcus, kneel before me. How will that make me look? Why don't you just bow and apologize? That's letting him off too easy. Yeah, why should you be so magnanimous when he's done so much wrong? Noah, I didn't want to waste any more time. Kneeling wouldn't cost me anything. I just wanted to end this farce and take my mother home. Mr. Noah, I apologize on behalf of my mother. I took a deep breath and slowly bent my knees. Marcus, for some reason, Annalise suddenly rushed forward, grabbed my arm, and pulled me up. Who told you to kneel? Marcus, are you so willing to debase yourself? Do you have no dignity? Do you ever want to show your face in New York again? I pushed her hand away and stepped back. Miss Thorne, is this enough? Marcus, can you give me my father's watch back now? I held out my hand to her, my gaze as calm as a dead sea. Yes, I couldn't stay in New York anymore. I never planned to. Dignity and face didn't matter. Survival was the hardest part. Annalise stared at my hand, at the mottled scars and calluses in my palm. Her eyes grew red, her lips pressed into a thin line, a tight, thin line. So you'll always be a liar, won't you, Miss Thorne? I don't quite understand what she means. You were the one who shamelessly chased me and gave me this watch. You were the one who said once I put it on, I could never take it off, and now you want it back? What? Does the world revolve around you? The watch was expensive, but Annalise could easily buy 10 of them. There was no reason for her to keep something from someone she hated. The only reason was that her resentment for me ran too deep, and she wanted to make things difficult. Miss Thorne, if you're still angry about the past, I can apologize to you in the same way. Marcus, Annalise suddenly seemed to lose her composure. Can't you understand plain English? Why is it that you get to love me when you want and stop loving me when you want? What right do you have to come and go as you please in my life? Look closely, I'm getting engaged to Noah, and we're getting married. When that day comes, Marcus, it will be too late for regrets. But why should I have regrets? Or perhaps you're the one who can't understand. I've already given up on her. I don't want her anymore. It's not a game of hard to get, nor is it a tantrum born of grievance. It's a genuine, complete letting go, a point of no return. Miss Thorne, you're overthinking it. I sincerely wish you two a long and happy life together. Annalise let out a cold laugh. She took the watch from her wrist, opened her hand, and let it fall to the floor. Take your thing and get out, Marcus. Don't let me see you again. Fine. I squatted down and picked up the watch. The hands were no longer moving. I held it in my hands for a long moment before looking up at Annalise. Annalise. My voice was low, but the slap I delivered was with all my might. My palm burned, and my whole body trembled. Annalise. Noah cried out in shock. The room fell silent. I let out a breath and smiled, carefully putting the watch away, and left without another moment's hesitation. Long after I was gone, the silence in the room remained. Do you think Marcus is serious? I think so too. It doesn't seem like he's acting. His hands were pretty beat up, you know. Thinking about it, he never did anything truly terrible. He was just too in love with Annalise. Were we a bit too harsh? The friends looked at Annalise. She touched her slightly swollen cheek, her eyes following Marcus's retreating figure as if she were expecting something. But when Marcus walked out that door, the light in her eyes completely dimmed. After taking my mother to the hospital for her usual treatment, she fell into a quiet sleep. I held the watch, knowing my mother would want it back when she woke up, so I decided to get it repaired. As I left the room, I saw Camilla. She was sitting there, looking at her phone. She looked up when she heard me come out. I just spoke with the doctor. Your mother's condition can improve with systematic treatment. I lowered my eyes. I know, but we can't afford it right now. I can help you with the money. I looked up sharply. But Camilla, I have no way of paying you back. I already owed her. Owing $10,000 was the same as owing $1 million. Camilla stood up and walked over to me. Let's get something to eat first. It wasn't the same at all. I could work hard and pay back $10,000. $1 million was something I couldn't even imagine. But Camilla, if I owe too much, I really can't pay it back. Then pay it back slowly. There's no rush. But I was frantic. $10,000 cost me 5 times. $1 million would be 50 times. I couldn't imagine having to be with Camilla that many times. No buts, Marcus. I'm the creditor now. Fine. I had to shut up. Camilla took me to eat. She had something urgent come up, so she had her driver take me to get the watch repaired. I don't know if it was my imagination, but Camilla seemed to be in a bad mood, her attitude toward me growing colder. We didn't see each other for the next few days. My mother was admitted to the hospital and began intensive treatment. I didn't let myself be idle, continuing my busy schedule of part-time jobs. I heard that Annalise and Noah's engagement had been postponed, but no one knew for how long. Camilla had returned to Los Angeles for a few days. That's where she had made her fortune, and most of her business was there. She had a new project developing in New York, which was why she had been back. Camilla had terminated my lease on the old rental, so I had been staying at her place in the city. Her social and personal life seemed very clean and simple, and because of that, I had the most peaceful and quiet 2 months I'd had in a long time. I finished my shift at 11 and grabbed the cheapest sandwich I could find on the way home. I was so exhausted that I threw myself onto the sofa the moment I walked in, not even noticing the single floor lamp that was on or Camilla leaning against a single armchair, clearly drunk. By the time I realized something was off, Camilla was already unsteadily on her feet and walking toward me. Marcus! She gently kicked my dangling leg, her drunken eyes hazy as she looked at me. Don't you think you deserve to be punished? Punished for what? I was completely bewildered, staring at her. Camilla leaned in, her faint scent of alcohol enveloping me. Not a single call or text. Have you forgotten that I'm your creditor? Camilla kicked me again, very lightly. Marcus, I'm going to give you a physical punishment tonight. I was a bit stunned. A physical punishment? What kind of physical punishment? Camilla reached out and gently cupped my chin. She kissed me lightly at first, then with increasing force. You idiot. Camilla suddenly laughed, a genuine, open laugh I had rarely seen even when we were young. She was always composed and serious. Now that we were older, she was even more mature and steady. I had almost never seen any strong emotion on her face, but now she was smiling so broadly that her eyes crinkled, the faint light swimming in her pupils, a pool of gentle contentment. I was captivated. I never knew she could look like this when she smiled. The only word that came to mind was stunning. Camilla leaned in and kissed me again. Marcus, you are a first-class fool. Yeah, I'm a fool. You don't have to keep reminding me. I looked down, avoiding her gentle gaze, not wanting to foolishly fall for it again. Let's go to bed. Let me teach you a proper lesson. The next morning when I woke up, Camilla was still there. You should stop working those part-time jobs for a while. Why didn't you used to work at your father's company? I laughed. I did, but what do you think I was capable of doing back then? My father just wanted to keep me busy, make me do something productive. I was his only son. The Thorne family business was supposed to be mine someday. I couldn't be completely clueless. But now all of that is gone, so it doesn't matter anymore. You can handle some basic office work, can't you? I suppose so. I did do a proper 2-month internship, after all. You can start by working for me. Why? No reason. Consider it part of paying off your debt. With that reason, I couldn't refuse. A debtor has no right to choose. Get ready. You'll start coming to work with me tomorrow. Camilla saw me sitting on the bed, my hair a mess, and she actually walked over and tidied it for me. Marcus, there's something I need to make clear to you. What is it? No matter what, you're my person now. A strange chill entered Camilla's eyes. If someone bullies you, it's my face, Camilla's face, that you're embarrassing. Got it. No one's been bullying me. If being humiliated and beaten doesn't count, then what does? A sudden sting filled my nose, and I almost burst into tears. So she knew everything. But what did it have to do with her? Even if I were humiliated and beaten, she should have felt vindicated. If anyone is going to bully you, it will only be me. Camilla looked at my reddened eyes with a hint of helplessness. I say a few words to you, and you're about to cry. I'm not talking. The tears kept falling. All right, Marcus. Our past, it's all wiped clean. She leaned down, her warm lips pressing against the corner of my eye. Is it wiped clean? I knew Camilla was a woman of her word, but while she could let go of the past, I couldn't clear my conscience. I would probably never forget how, because of Annalise, to make her happy, I had broadcast Camilla's love letter to the entire school, and I had forced Camilla to write that letter according to my wishes. I had rejected her when she first confessed to me, but later, at the urging of Annalise's friends, I had deliberately sought her out and told her that if she wrote me a serious love letter, I would consider her. The letter was mostly dictated by me, written in Camilla's hand. In it, I made her debase herself to an extreme degree, even writing the line, "Marcus, as long as I can be with you, I'm willing to be your little dog." When that letter was read over the school's PA system, the young Camilla stood amidst a sea of strange looks, her face deathly pale, and I, who had been laughing along with Annalise and her friends at first, couldn't laugh anymore. By the end, I still remembered the last look Camilla gave me. There was no hatred, just a profound, unsettling calmness, like the deep sea. I regretted it instantly, but my ridiculous pride kept me from ever saying I was sorry. The night Annalise and Noah broke up for good, she was drinking with a few friends at a club. After a few rounds, someone suddenly blurted out, "Holy crap. You guys, look what I just saw. Isn't that Camilla, that manipulative girl who used to have a crush on Marcus?" The phone was eventually passed to Annalise. On the screen was an 8-second video. In it, a beautiful, capable woman in a white business suit bore a faint resemblance to her younger self, and the young man in a black suit beside her. Annalise would recognize him even if he were reduced to ashes. They looked like a boss and her subordinate, but when they got into the car, Marcus protectively shielded her, and Camilla smiled at him with a certain tenderness. No wonder Marcus has been so tough lately. He's got a new backer. But he was so cruel to Camilla back then for Annalise's sake. Isn't he afraid she'll get revenge? I heard Camilla is a big deal in Los Angeles now. So why did she come back to New York? It couldn't be for Marcus, could it? Marcus is so poor now. Camilla could play him like a fiddle. But they don't look like she's about to get revenge in the video. You guys don't get it. Give him a little taste of sweetness, a little hope, and then crush him. Send him falling from the clouds. That kind of revenge is much more interesting. Everyone chatted on, but Annalise remained silent. Annalise, what do you think? If Camilla is really going to get revenge on Marcus, should we warn him? Annalise suddenly let out a cold laugh. She pushed the phone away, her voice chillingly cold. What's it to you? And what's it to me? If Camilla wants revenge, let her have it. Even if she kills him, it has nothing to do with me. Annalise, that's a bit much. Yeah, Marcus was annoying before, but he's pretty pathetic now. I just found out recently, some of those sleazy guys from the Shaw family were after him before, but he fought back hard and got beaten up pretty badly. He deserves it, Annalise said, but her eyes were turning red. He debased himself by getting involved with that trash. Why should I care? But in truth, she had been waiting for Marcus to come to her, to ask for her help, but he never did. He would rather deal with those animals than come to her. Didn't he deserve it? Just like now, he was foolishly walking right into Camilla's trap, seeking his own destruction. What did it have to do with her? If he had just come back to her like before, admitted his mistake, she, despite her dislike for him, wouldn't have abandoned him for old times' sake. But she never expected Marcus to be so resolute this time. He was completely unmoved, even by her engagement to Noah. That day, when he was forced to kneel and apologize, he had actually done it without any resistance. The fire of frustration in Annalise's heart burned hotter and hotter. Perhaps it was the alcohol, but she couldn't sit still any longer and left the room. I never expected to see Annalise again, let alone sitting so calmly across from her at a table. Marcus, did you know Camilla has a fiancé in Los Angeles, arranged by her family? Annalise's directness surprised me, but then I thought, she was 2 years older than me and successful. It was normal for her to be at an age for marriage. From your expression, you've been kept in the dark. What are you trying to say? Her reason for coming to New York. I think you can guess some of it. Marcus, as a woman, I know how a woman's mind works. Take my advice and leave her before it's too late. You also think she's going to get revenge on me, don't you? Annalise looked at me with pity. Marcus, no one can forget that kind of humiliation. I know. I looked at her calmly. I was the one who was terribly wrong back then. So even if she gets her revenge, I'll accept it. Marcus, if there's nothing else, I should get back to work. I stood up to leave. Annalise grabbed my wrist, her expression a little awkward. Marcus, we've known each other for so many years. I can't just watch you walk into a fire. How about this? We get engaged as we planned before. After all, only my family and I can protect you. And whatever you owe Camilla, we'll pay her back with money. I pulled my hand away forcefully. Do you think she looks like she needs money? No one has too much money. If she's still not willing, I can have someone give her a good deal on her business in New York. Annalise, why are you doing this? You hate me so much. Shouldn't you be happy to see me miserable? And if you're getting engaged to me, what about your precious Noah? It was laughable. The person she once loved so deeply, she could break up with just like that, and the person she once hated so much, she wished he were dead, she now wanted to marry. I really didn't understand, and didn't want to understand people like her. We broke up. Marcus, we're completely over. I was wrong about what happened before. I only just found out that Noah lied to me. You never bullied him. Annalise's gaze was intense as she looked at me. Marcus, will you consider my proposal? I didn't answer. I just picked up the glass of water in front of me and threw it in her face. Annalise, I don't take back garbage. Marcus, you're always so stupid and stubborn. Annalise wiped the water from her face, her eyes filled with anger. You have to hit rock bottom before you regret it, don't you? Does it have anything to do with you? Marcus, you loved me for 7 years, chased me for 7 years. I know what you want, and I'm willing to marry you now. I let out a very soft laugh. Annalise, if you could turn back time to the moment my father took his last breath and say those words, maybe I would consider it. But you can't, so there is absolutely no possibility between us. Marcus, Annalise tried to grab me, but I dodged her again. You like Camilla, don't you? Annalise's smile was bleak. I saw you the other day at that party with Camilla. The way you looked at her was the same way you used to look at me a long time ago. You're wrong. I raised an eyebrow at her. It's not the same, because a man always has a special feeling for his first woman. What did you say? Annalise was stunned, but I paid her no more attention and strode out of the cafe. There was still an hour left of work. Camilla was probably busy, but I had a question for her. Mr. Thorne, you're finally back. Ms. Vance was looking for you earlier. When she heard you were out meeting a friend, she asked what friend. She seemed really unhappy. Mr. Thorne, you should be careful when you go in there. I was surprised. I had only been gone for half an hour, and Camilla had happened to be looking for me, even though she was in a meeting before. Okay, thank you. I'll go right now. I took a deep breath, straightened my wrinkled shirt, and hurried to Camilla's office. When I knocked and entered, she didn't even look up from her work. I stood there for a full half hour before I couldn't take it anymore. Miss Vance, did you need me for something? Camilla's hand paused. She looked up at me for a second before going back to her work. Camilla, if you don't need anything, then I have something to ask you. At that, Camilla put down her pen. She leaned back in her chair, looking at me indifferently. What is it? Do you have a fiancé? I didn't want to beat around the bush. Being a third wheel was completely different from paying off a debt to a single creditor. Who told you that? I faltered for a moment before I could answer. Camilla let out a cold laugh. What? Your ex-fiancé cheats on her new fiancé and now wants to sling mud at me. I was a bit confused. Took me a moment to understand what she meant. So you don't have a fiancé? No. Camilla's gaze grew even colder. Marcus, I don't have the time or energy to waste on men. Besides, you alone are enough to keep me busy. How do I keep you busy? Camilla looked at me for a long moment before slowly saying, 1. You're dense. Camilla, what's the rush? I'm not finished. A hint of a smile touched Camilla's eyes. And dealing with you alone is already exhausting enough. You're the one who's insatiable. The words were out before I could stop them. Yes, I'm insatiable. So you'd better not complain about being tired tonight. You're going to satisfy me, and tonight you're going to write me a love letter in bed. You'll write exactly what I tell you to write. Are you going to read it at a company meeting? Camilla, if you think that kind of content won't damage your reputation, go ahead. What kind of content? I was a little confused. Back then, I had only forced her to write a lot of fawning, sycophantic things. Marcus Thorne loves Camilla. Marcus Thorne loves sleeping with Camilla. Marcus Thorne wants to sleep with Camilla every night. Marcus Thorne also wants to do it with Camilla in the office, in the study. Camilla, you're insane. I lunged forward to cover her mouth. So, are you going to write it or do it? I thought for a moment. Writing it would be too humiliating. We were going to do it anyway, so doing it was the better option. Let's do it. Good. Then we'll start with the fourth sentence. A faint smile played on Camilla's lips. Marcus, kiss me. I slowly leaned down. As my lips touched hers, Camilla whispered, Marcus, I forgive you. I still like you more than I did 7 years ago. Camilla, don't say anything. Wait until one day you say the words I want to hear, then tell me. I shook my head slightly, looking at her stubbornly. Camilla, I have to say this. I'm sorry for all the stupid, hurtful things the old Marcus did to you. I never blamed you. I know, but all these years whenever I thought of you, I regretted it. My eyes started to sting. Camilla, I also have to thank you. Don't thank me, Marcus. Just love me, okay? And if you don't really love me, at least don't hate me. Camilla, I think I do like you. You were my first woman, and you're really beautiful. You're completely my type.